And so the premarital counseling allows a person to identify those particular weaks and strengths or opportunities for improvement and strengths.
When you do premarital, this is going into my next point. But when you do premarital, it does set the stage for continued maintenance care.
But the thing about premarital counseling is that you want to be able to see, do I really want to put up with this for the next 25, 35, 45, 50 years?
'Cause
Thank you for joining his wife, her husband.
I am Shamika, his wife,
And I am Patrick, her husband. Our purpose is to help build
and sustain marriages.
from a biblical perspective. On today's channel, today's episode, we are discussing um, marital counseling.
Premarital
Counseling.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
it's
Yeah,
premarital.
premarital counseling. Like, should you get it? Should you not get it? I was thinking earlier today, especially if you have somebody who believes they believe that their spouse is God sent.
Mm-hmm.
So my spouse is God sent. Do I still need marital counseling? You know what I'm
Of
saying?
course.
That's so anyway. So
Yeah,
that's
of
what we're going to
course.
attempt to answer today. I'm gonna let you start out.
But I do want to, I guess, kind of just like a small pillow talk. We got a lot of feedback from the trust episode
Hmm.
or channel, yeah, episode, and trust again. I don't know if we really brought it home, but it is a delicate subject. It is a risky exercise, and
Just for clarity purpose, because I don't know.
well,
Are you still dealing with? Does this tie into premarital counseling?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just like pre-talk, and then we was gonna go into why it's important to get the premarital
Okay.
because because trust is such a delicate and necessary component to
Hmm.
marriage,
That's
like.
very necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Because what had happened is a lot of times we would try to get married on love, and love is very important because that's what keeps it
Hmm.
fed and fueled. But however, if you love someone but they hadn't shown that they are trustworthy, then that's a whole nother thing.
Write that down for me, because I
Okay,
want to talk about that in a later.
let's talk about what
Is love enough
is
for marriage?
love enough. Yeah, it's love enough for marriage. So yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, and so now that will segue into the premarital. But
Hmm.
I just wanted to emphasize that we were not saying that you should stay with someone just because. That you should stay with someone in spite of infidelity. We were not saying that. And again, or I ain't gonna say again. I'll say um, an important thought is marriage is sacred. Like it's between two people. It's what you decide to do. I can't make you stay or not stay.
Hmm.
But whatever you decide to do, Patrick and I are here to help you build and sustain that.
Right.
Right? And marriage is honorable. It is an honorable commitment in the earth. And so yeah, if this is what you're deciding to do, we want to make sure that we help you to experience good success in the journey of being wedded. But yeah, so what? You don't have
So
anything to say?
I was going to let you go first
Okay.
with answering the question.
Okay, so why is premarital or is premarital counseling important? Of course, it's important. Look, so first of all,
I
premarital.
guess it would be, is it and why is it?
I was
Yeah.
getting ready.
Mhm.
So it is important, and the reason why it's important is anything. I mean, like when I just this is just off the dome. This is not even on my notes. But anything in this life that we set out to do that is of importance
Mhm.
or that it involves other people, it requires some level of communication, education. You need to make sure that someone needs to make sure that you are uh, qualified, not qualified, but that you are competent enough to be able to do what you are signing up to do. So it's like a preliminary. Like you don't just, oh, I want to fly an airplane, and I'm just gonna go take off. Like, no, like that's not what we doing, right? I want to start driving now, but you 7, you just started walking. Not saying that 7-year-olds can't drive, but because
I get the point.
yeah, but it's like, whoa, 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 slow down. Someone needs to be able to verify
Hmm.
that this person is fully capable. They may
So you
be
say someone is this
the pastor or
okay?
a marriage counselor.
Hmm.
You have pastors, you have marriage counselors, you have
Could it
marriage coaches.
could it be that the premarital counseling? Because I'm trying to sound deep now. It's hard to see the whole picture when you're in the frame.
Mhm.
So would you say that the premarital counseling helps to see some things that the person who's in the relationship might not be able to see? Is that okay?
Because
Gotcha.
love is there, and it's something about love. Love has a tendency
Yeah.
to be blinding.
Hmm.
It can blind. It can blind you, and and especially if love has not been matured or developed well.
Hmm.
The counterfeit of love is lust. So it can sound good, feel good, look
Right.
good. I mean, all of that good, and then somebody else will say, "Yeah, but I see this,"
Hmm.
or step back. I know you head over heels, but you need to check that. And so
Yeah.
that's what marriage counseling, premarital counseling, will do. So one of the points that I did bring up is that the reason why it's important to get premarital counseling is that it highlights the strengths and it also uncover areas of weakness in both parties.
That's good.
And so one person may be strong in finances.
Hmm.
One person may be strong in as far as fitness or
Hmm.
relationship. They may have a strong, and when I say the person, meaning them as an individual, but be mindful that individuals come from families. And so the families, you want to know if they come from a two-parent home or a multiple divorce home, or if they come from a
You
blended
said
family.
multiple divorce home?
Like sometimes,
I didn't think about that.
yeah, sometimes the person parent may have
Been
been
married
married
twice
twice.
within
Yeah.
their adolescent years or
Uh
whatever.
huh.
That's
Uh huh.
pretty deep.
Yeah. And so you want to get as much of a clear perspective, and you want to get as much clarity as possible
Hmm.
as you can about the individual that maybe you missed and during the courtship or
Right.
in the
Because
dating.
even in that courtship time, you're
Head over heels.
head over heels for the person, and yeah, you may miss some things. Um, and so the premarital counseling allows a person to identify those particular weaks and strengths or opportunities for improvement and strengths. You know what I'm saying? Um,
They know what questions to ask, excuse me,
yeah.
to bring that up,
Yeah. So yeah. That's what I was about to say.
there
Well, not
there
about to
are,
say, but that was on my brain too. Say,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. There
You good?
are assessments that are
Hmm.
done, and so it can be done in a non-offensive, non-abrasive manner to both parties. So
Yeah.
one will not seem like they're being picked on or
Yeah.
prodded, right? It's even, and you get to see really on paper. You get to see what really is what you who this person is.
That's. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. It's
No,
kind of
no.
like
Excuse me for talking, so I can interrupt you. No, go
it's
ahead. I'm
kind of
sorry.
like even with the sports the players, how they have their stats. To me, that's what the assessment would be for
Hmm.
premarital. You would get to see the stats of this person. You
Hmm.
get to see the whole layout as much as possible, because it's some experiences that won't be on there,
Correct.
events that won't be on there. But then there are, again, uh, we are in a time where people have acquired enough studies to know what questions to ask
Hmm.
and when to ask them and how to really uncover some
I
things.
think that's what when we went through the prepare and enrich to get certified. Um, it wasn't until I saw on paper the data that shows something that you had been And this is again we were already married, but it was great that we got it even during that time because it highlighted an opportunity for improvement for me within my own marriage. So, and I think what was you can say it.
I can't remember.
That's good. If she can't remember, that means I'm doing a better job.
Hmm.
And I think it was allowing you to be able. You felt like you couldn't talk or something like you couldn't communicate without being something.
Okay, I don't even remember. But you know what,
Hold
Patrick?
on before you do that. So anyway, the
High
reason.
five.
Okay, all right. That's good. So so one of my accountability partners on the accountability team at the church. This is one of the things that he does, and I said we were going to um, adopt that as part of our counseling session,
Okay.
premarital counseling session. He asked both the husband and both fiancés to bring their credit report.
Mm.
They have to bring the credit report
It won't
because he's
lie.
talking because he get to the part about dealing with finances. So here's the data. You can't like the credit report doesn't lie about what the past is. Now doesn't mean that going forward, because you may have made that change. But when they come in with their credit reports, they're thinking they're bringing their credit report to the pastor. He then takes the guy's credit report, take the young lady's credit report. He doesn't look at it. He does this,
That's good.
and at that point, he's switching the credit reports,
They book. Uh-huh.
and they both looking like,
Uh-huh.
what am I gonna do?
They
But
go
that's
back
during
to
that
that
financial part.
financial stats.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we all have stats
And
on
numbers
some,
don't lie.
and they don't lie. The data don't lie.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the good. That's good. And I wanted to say too before I move to my next point. Patrick made mention that we got counseling during our marriage,
Right.
and so what happens is when you do premarital. This is going into my next point. But when you do premarital, it does set the stage for continued maintenance care,
That's good.
marriage maintenance care. So don't see counseling. We have to debunk the idea that counseling are for those that are inadequate or insufficient or whatever the case may
So
be.
just so I can understand, because I think we believe the same thing, but I don't want to just assume that counseling should be also for when things are going good.
Correct.
It's a okay. Kind of
Uh-huh.
like you go and you get your car, you get a maintenance checkup
Yeah.
on your car.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It doesn't always have to be a breakdown that requires your car to get fixed or maintenance. So that's how it should be when it comes to marriage. But when you set the stage on the front end
Mm-hmm.
to go ahead and do that, then it makes it easier. So now when you do need a fix or that you are experiencing a communication
Mm-hmm.
breakdown or sexual intimate breakdown
Right.
and you need to get that help, it won't seem to the other spouse that, oh, you trying to fix me. No, remember
Mm-hmm.
we did this together on the front end.
So to stay with the analogy of the car, the premarital counseling is like when you get ready to go buy, let's say, a used car,
Hmm. I like pre-owned better.
pre-owned car.
Now
You
you can buy
take
them
you
used.
take your mechanic with you
Mhm.
to check the car out. Or at least we
Mhm.
did before we
Mhm.
bought Joya's car.
Mhm.
I took our friend,
Mhm.
who's a mechanic,
Mhm.
and we took him to check the car out before we bought it.
He assessed it.
He
Yes.
assessed it. He ran it through his thing,
The
the
diagnostic.
diagnostic,
Mhm.
and after doing that, he came back or he texted me said, "This is a good car."
I want to add one more thing. Not only did he do a diagnostic, but his years of being in the automotive,
Was able to spot.
he
Right.
knew areas that maybe their machine wasn't going to pick up.
That's good. And so because of that, his suggestion was, "Hey, you need to buy this car. If you don't, I am." And it was a good price too.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And so again, what, as you can tell, Patrick and I are strong proponents of premarital
I am.
counseling. Eh,
To go with what you're saying, when you're talking about the strengths, to identify strengths and the opportunities for improvement. My mind read, the way I wrote it down was,
mhm.
you get to see beforehand potential pitfalls. Um, what you trying to say that?
No, no, yeah, you can go. I mean, it is on down the
All right, go
line, but
ahead.
yeah. No, 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 that's good.
So potential pitfalls. In other words, I can identify areas where this might be an issue down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is, premarital counseling, we're not saying, well, yes, I will, and I have before. We've done premarital counseling, and I've suggested this is not a good fit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Or if we say it's not a good fit, we would say maybe the timing,
right.
because it may be that, okay, well, oh no, we have had times when we was like, you all are not compatible. Then there have been times where it's
Yeah,
like,
but we didn't say compatible. It was just like, here's the reason why. And so for me, it's 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 necessary for me to be, especially if you're coming to me, it's necessary for me to give you honest feedback about what's about to happen. So why are you touching my arm? Oh, because you can hear it. My fault. Honest feedback about what's about to happen, so that
because
you
I
can
can.
so that you can correct those things. And if the person is really and for, I thought you were trying to give me a kiss. If the person is really for you, they'll take those pitfalls into consideration, be honest about it, and then you can begin to see changes that will happen before you get married. And then that goes back to where we were talking about in the consistency, what happened consistently. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was getting ready to say, usually with a really uh, effective and I would say even an excellent counselor,
Hmm.
they will bring up areas that can be corrected. Like you can start effective immediately to
Hmm.
fix, and you as the fiance can see how the fiance handles correction or
Hmm.
reproof. You know what I
That's
mean?
good.
And so if they are prone to, take action right
Hmm.
then you can say, oh, okay, so in the future, if we ever get some news and we need to fix it, you can see behaviors, is what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
You can identify how this person takes on compliments as well as
Critiques.
critiques.
Hmm.
Yep.
I think one of the questions that
Thank you.
we typically ask, or one of the sessions that we deal with is and Shamika said it earlier, is the family history or the family dynamics. In other words, your upbringing. How was the family structure when you were growing up? Because that particular family structure kind of sets the tone on how you deal with situations today as an adult. And so sometimes we dig deep during those particular ones, because this may come back up, in the marriage.
It's
And
going
the
to.
thing is, the thing about premarital counseling, again, this is probably the redundant part, but the thing about premarital counseling is that you want to be able to see, do I really want to put up with this for the next 25, 35, 45, 50 years?
Because now you do know what marriage is. It is commitment, lifelong commitment.
Right.
Let that sink in. You are telling this person, whether you vowed it or not, the way it's set up is for life.
Hmm.
And so you need to make sure that you know that I can put up with this for life.
For life.
For life, yeah. You finished with your point?
Hmm.
So then the next one would be, which kind of in line with what Patrick was saying, it sets the trajectory of intentional commitment in the marriage relationship. Because if you have been intentional on the front end about ensuring that you all are functioning and that you all have all the resources that you need, 9 times out of 10, they will continue their behavior of being intentional about staying committed in a marriage.
Read that point again for me.
It sets the trajectory of intentionality. I mean, in being intentional to being committed in the marriage relationship.
Hmm.
And so I have two examples that I wanted to share. I wrote, when you show up to invest in learning about marriage and to learn about your future spouse, this displays care. Like, I care about you, you know? Both parties are saying, I love you enough to show up early to say, to let you know that I want the best for both of us.
Yeah.
And then the next one is when you seek out wise counsel and complete the premarital assignments, it displays dedication and intentionality.
Hmm.
Because a great marriage coaches or counselors, they are going to give you homework assignments to do.
Yeah.
And so, just this is probably a little spoiler alert, just to give you a heads up if you do. Or when you do marriage counseling, is that they're going to give you assignments, and we are watching to see how well you completed it, how
Correct.
thoughtful you were, how intentional. Did you just fill in the blank, just fill it in, but you don't have an experience behind
Or
it, you
how
don't
long
have an
it
event?
take.
Yeah, did you do it right before you came in just so that you can say,
Mm-hmm.
or did you fill it out while
Mm-hmm.
you sitting there, or did you huff and puff? We're looking at attitudes,
Mm-hmm.
all of that.
Yeah.
So it's more than what's on that assessment sheet. It is the whole behavior, all of that. We watching everything. Again, this is a wise one. Just like you have good pastors, you have bad pastors, you got good counselors, you got bad counselors. The truth of the matter is, because we live in a fallen, fractured world with flawed people,
Mm-hmm.
some people are in it just for the money. They
Right.
have
That's
no
true.
value in it. They probably on their 12th marriage, amen. And they just want to do something just to put some money in
Can't
their
get it right.
pocket. But they still trying, and then they trying to convince you of why you shouldn't try. Like,
Yeah.
what we doing?
And
So,
so for me, even for me, when my thing was, because at one point we were not charging for marriage counseling, and I didn't feel like we should until we got the certification. So now we do charge, for the record. But even for then and now, my time is valuable. So if we're doing marriage counseling and we do see at the last minute type of work, or the big one is I didn't have time, that's definitely a
a
lie,
red
because
flag in marriage
my
too.
wife has a saying that, listen very carefully what it is. People do and remember what's most important. Now, not saying it's not important, but what's most important, you're not going to forget to do, nor, and you're going to make sure it gets done, or you're going to put the time in, or you're going to take the time out to put the time in to finish. So for me, it's like, if I'm taking my time, I'm away from probably spending one-on-one time with my wife, or one-on-one time or family time with my wife and my children. If I don't see that you're like, then I'm probably going to say, hey, I don't think you guys are committed.
And therefore, you're not ready.
If you're not committed to this, I'm not sure if you guys are going to
Throw
be
that
committed
finger
to
in my
one. All right,
hand.
my fault. If you're not committed to this, you're probably not going to be committed long term to the marriage. Now, again, we're not saying that's what's going to happen, but
These are
these are,
indicators.
yeah. These are indicators that let me know where your commitment level is, and I'm probably going to be like, I'm not sure if this is the right time. You know what I'm saying, for you all. So
Yep. And also, the next point that I brought up with pertaining to why premarital counseling is important is that it causes you to really think about the seriousness and the sacredness of marriage. Again, it's things that will be brought up because it's more than just sex for marriage. A lot of
it
young
is.
people that I hilarious, a lot of people that I have been privileged to meet through the course of my profession, it's like, for whatever reason, sex is like the highlight of marriage. Don't get me
It's
wrong;
not.
it is a very, 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 a very, very, very good benefit. However, that is not the only reason why two souls need to become one. It is
Mhm.
so much more than that.
Mhm.
And it is more than just being yoked. I know one of our videos that have gotten a lot of attention is being equally yoked,
Unequally
unequally,
yoked.
excuse me,
Mhm.
unequally yoked. And so you discover that it's more than being equally yoked in Christ or in the Spirit. It's being equally yoked in all other areas. I was about to give y'all all my points. You
But
need to plug in and get
but
that
it
premarital counseling.
also, it can be so. Because you mentioned unequally yoked, I'm thinking it doesn't mean you're going to have the same interests, but it does mean that you all will be compatible. You know what I'm
Same
saying?
standard, same values.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
your values can line up and become one.
That's true.
Now, I'm not saying that one value has to stop, because you can have a good value here, but maybe you hadn't practiced this other value over here, and you make it one. Versus, I'll say this: a mindset or a pertaining to marriage is it's not for life, and one may say it's for the moment. If you mess up, I'm out of here, and
Mm-hmm.
not just for infidelity. It's for anything. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't do anything I ask you to do, if I don't feel like it, we off. You treat it basically marriage. One person mindset may be treating it as if it is just a boyfriend
A
girlfriend.
contract that you can get out of
Yeah,
rather than a lifelong
it's a
covenant.
covenant.
Yeah.
Yes, and so again, that's
That's
where.
actually that's actually deep.
Uh
And
huh.
you have to go into, because even if that's the case, if you find out that this person has this thought process about marriage, the likelihood of that marriage surviving is probably slim.
Yeah.
Because if we're both going in, and now we know things happen, so like we're not trying to do that, but we know things happen. But I'm gonna go in as if I've burnt the bridge. You know what I'm saying? As if I burnt the boat. We burnt the bridge. When we got to the island, we burnt the boat. There's no way. We're
There
the only
is
two
no
here,
going back.
and we have to figure out. So when you go into it that way, and that can come out in premarital counseling. When you go into it that way, it shows the person that's going to do all how much hard work a person will put into making the marriage successful. And
Yes.
again, things happen. That's not what we're saying, but we're just saying this is the mindset of people when you go into marriage, how they view marriage.
Yeah.
Is it just contractual,
Yeah.
or is it covenant?
Yeah, yeah. I know one of the things, just to give you all a heads up for Patrick and myself, uh, the D word, the voice is not an option. It wasn't an option, And so when you go in early on, that there is no back door, there is no out, there is no escape route. Like, we gonna figure it out.
Hmm.
Um,
So
yeah.
so I agree with you 100%. However, what if a person has had that? That was their mindset going in, and it still
And
happened.
it changed, yeah. Now that's going to be on another episode.
Okay.
Okay, that was a
That's what's
good
up.
question,
Yeah.
Patrick. That was, but yeah, because we are not saying again. When I think I know I did mention it on our first on our introduction, that we will be bringing up experiences and
Hmm.
moments or things that Patrick and I have done. We're not saying that this is like an absolute for everyone.
Right.
I'm just giving you what we did,
Our
and
experiences and the wisdom we've gotten,
uh-huh.
and we're passing
Uh-huh.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, so we are not here to minimize or to belittle or to, any things that you have experienced or even what we have experienced.
Right.
It's called, we're doing life. This
Hmm.
is called life, and I'm just sharing with you what we said and what we did.
Right.
And
And it worked.
again,
It worked for us. Like
mhm,
we
it's
went
working.
in, and it's working. Amen. We went in deciding that divorce is not an option.
Hmm.
But and here's the thing, though. So this is the thing. We didn't get premarital counseling.
Hmm.
What do you think would have? How do you think things would have been had we gotten premarital counseling?
That's another one too, because we had to share y'all. You know what? You don't want to just go ahead and share the story, because
I
the
don't want
truth.
to share the host. I just want you to answer.
Well, then that's going to
What do you
be
think?
another one.
No,
I
it's not
th-
gonna be
I
another one.
think no, because okay.
What
So
do you think? I'm just
I
asking.
think that it would have been even more. I think it would have been great, because I think we both are pretty determined individuals.
Hmm.
And I also think that we really genuinely loved each other, and even we loved and wanted to honor God, even where we were. We didn't know half the things that we know now
Yeah.
about Him. Like, we didn't have any scriptures to prove, we didn't have no
Yeah.
scriptures to flex or nothing like that. All we knew is that with God's help, we could get it done. And
Right.
for real, like, we're not saying that we are immune to divorce or anything like that, but we believe that the Lord, with His help, He would help us to figure it out, to
Hmm.
get it, to get it done, to be an example, a reflection of His glory in the earth, and that we will be able to be there for one another.
I think if we had premarital counseling, I think we would have. I think I would have waited to put some things in order, so it wouldn't have been financially. I would have waited. Now, there's no perfect financial time, but I would have waited to put some things in order financially. I would have. I know I would have still married. I just would have been okay. Wait a minute. Let me back up. Let me
Let's
put some
stack up.
things. Let me get myself together as a man. Because at that time I'm not saved. You know what I'm saying? I think you have just rededicated your life.
Yeah, no,
So
I need it for real this time.
yeah,
Sometimes we be playing with the Lord.
for real, for real.
Yeah, like this time, it's like it was like, I burnt. Like, going back to what you said, I burnt that bridge and I burnt that boat, and I meant I wasn't going back. It was nothing back there for me.
Yeah.
It did a number on me, but yeah.
Okay. So my last thing that I got.
I have another
Okay,
last
go
thing.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What you have? Wait a minute. Okay, so then I'm
So
gonna
for
beat you.
all right, go ahead.
Paper, scissors, rock.
1, 2, 3. So I believe. So premarital counseling. This is my last point, and then I'll let you have it after this. Um, I think if you do premarital counseling, and I think we kind of said it, but I think it'll help you decide whether or not this is what you want. If this is if this person is really who you want to marry, if this is really what you want, again, if the counselor is good, they will bring out
The good, the bad,
and the
the
ugly,
ugly.
and
And
you
you be
can
like,
make the
I don't
assessment.
like him. He,
I I have some. I have a when we're talking in the barbershop, and it's like, what's your non-negotiable?
that's
You know what
good.
I'm saying? Like, this is a non-negotiable for me. Now, just me. I'm not knocking anybody, but for me, I didn't want someone that smoked cigarettes.
And you know what? I've always wanted to do this.
Superficial, but that was a non-negotiable for me.
I always want to do this.
Smoke cigarettes?
But I always want to do it organically, right? And this is an organic moment.
Oh,
What are your non negotiables? Put them in the comment box. I know it's so cheesy, but really,
it's
I
not
do
cheesy.
want to know we want to know what are your non-negotiables, because it was like a you know, like they smoke or they cuss or I did not like how they treat their mama. You
Mm-hmm.
know, what are your non-negotiables? We want to hear from them. We want to
Yeah,
hear those.
and as respectful as you can, leave those comments in the comment. If you're watching on YouTube, definitely leave the comment. I don't know if you can do it on the podcast, but
You
I
can.
mean on Spotify, but
Oh,
definitely you can.
I think so.
All right, if you can and you're doing this on the podcast, leave us a note. Let us know. If you're on YouTube and you're watching us on YouTube, definitely leave us a comment and let us
Yeah,
know. Yeah,
yeah. I guess my last point would kind of. Was you finished with your last point?
I'm not sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, my last point will be similar to your second point, Patrick or Essay. Seeking marriage counseling is realizing the necessary need of getting help and getting that help early and often. You
Read it
want
for me
to
one more time.
Seeking marriage counseling or premarital counseling
Mm-hmm.
is realizing the necessary need of getting help early and often.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to make it a part of your marriage, like maintenance, marital maintenance. When you do that, yeah. And so what it does is we learn from the experiences of those who value and have journeyed through where we are going.
That's wisdom.
So when it comes, let me say it again.
No, you
Okay.
have to.
But again, you may get marriage counseling from pastoral care, but you do need to have a married couple that's
Mm-hmm.
older than you,
Mm-hmm.
and just to make sure that the sanctity of marriage is preserved, you want to get a couple that's younger than you to make sure that the Lord is honored properly through the marriage. And then the other
Why
thing
why
is
is the younger couple?
just to keep the legacy going, to keep so that the next couple that's coming up will know how to live out marriage properly. So it's kind of like you're discipling or
Okay,
you're
so
training the
get
next.
disciple and disciple.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. So yes, so you want to have someone that's older, and when I say older, I don't mean older in year, like their age
Marriage
is old.
years.
Yeah, I'm talking about marriage years.
Hmm.
Yeah, that signifies that signifies that they have gone through something. Somebody's been together 25 years. They've
Right.
gone through changes, 30 years changes, 15 years changes. Like it's more than just 3 years. I'm not saying that you didn't learn nothing if you're just 3 years old in your
Hmm.
marriage. But what I'm saying is time has a way of bringing events and experiences that that they have to overcome together.
Right.
They have had to overcome it. They have maybe experienced loss of a parent, or maybe
Job.
prodigal children.
Right.
Yeah, career shifts. Like it's real life.
Yeah.
Marriage is real life, and it's two people becoming one. They making that thing one.
Hmm.
And then the other thing I wrote is that when you have a couple or marriage counseling, again, this maintenance care, it helps you to be aware of potential dangers, and it also, let me see, I said potential dangers and areas where you need to give intentional attention or detailed
That's good.
attention, because marriage is not full of danger. So I don't want us to, to think, to have that type of mindset like, ooh, I'm scared to get married.
Right.
That's not what we're saying. We just are aware that there are some potential dangers that are out there that
Hmm.
comes to destroy
Hmm.
covenant relationships,
Hmm.
as well as there are areas that if we don't give people heads up of detailed care and attention, then guess what? It'll make you want to check out. One of the things that I can say is like even aging in, like the individuals are aging
That's
in
true.
the marriage as they are acquiring years together. But guess what? You have really hormonal changes.
Yeah.
You have these things. You have financial shifts that take place. Like you may have to relocate. These are things that you want to make sure that you are prepared in the event that you have to prepare for the
So I
change.
don't think that comes up enough in premarital counseling as well. That the older you get, as you grow older, you are going to change, and so a lot of times they're 15, 20, or 15 years into the marriage, and they're saying she's not the same person she was when I married her.
And she's not.
She's not, and that's the truth. And so, but if I prep you before you get married, that hey, there's going to
Heads
come a
up.
time when she hit 40, when she hit 50, when she hit 60, that the body is going to do something different. There's a time when you hit 30 and 40, that you're going to get the gut going to probably stick out as a man, because men carry the stress in their gut. And so that he's going to change. And, for the most part, men become a little more stubborn. I don't know if women do, but I know men do. And so if I let you know these are the things that's going to happen down the line, it's there. Now, as you continue in counseling, regardless of good or bad, that'll help out as well, I think.
Mhm.
That maintenance part on the marriage counseling will help out as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. And after this, I'm gonna be done for real. But
You can close out then.
going back into the yes, sir. Going back into the vein of the car, it's so funny. I can remember Patrick and I had one vehicle, and we ran out of oil. So we didn't know what this sound was, but we learned what the sound was when that engine locked. Amen. All right. So now, sometime we could be riding down the street, and I can hear a sound. I said, "Oh, they better stop over at
Mhm.
AutoZone
Mhm.
to get them some oil." That was
Yeah.
a plug right there, AutoZone. Okay, but you want.
Lord, we're not plugging
I don't know. I
anymore.
just yes, sir. But anyway, but my point is through unfortunate circumstances, a moment that we had to experience,
Yeah.
but it gave us the heads up for the next person too. And if the Lord opens up the door and we are able to share what our experience was, we will. If not, we'll pray for you along the way. Why? Because we can't fix everybody.
Correct.
But those people that He has given us to fix, then guess what? We want to make sure that we have done our part to help them out along the journey.
Mhm.
All right? So,
Right.
yeah.
So if you are watching this on Facebook, and you have not hit the like button, please
YouTube.
hit the like. I mean, yeah, on YouTube. What I say, Facebook.
I'm like, huh?
On YouTube, you have not hit that like button. Please hit the like button.
Yes.
If you are a ninja watching, go ahead and subscribe, and as well as share if you found any value in this particular episode. As well, if you're on our podcast, please, I think you follow people on podcasts. I haven't figured out podcasts all the way yet, but if you're on podcasts, right now we're on Anchor and Spotify. Please follow us and actually share the podcast as well. If there's anything else,
Nope. That is it, it is nothing.
that
Make
is
sure
it.
that your heart is in it and look, encourage and endorse premarital counseling.
If you have not gotten your copy of the Disciples Prayer and Journal,
Yeah.
make sure you click on the link below to order your very own copy. This is prayer made simple for anyone. My wife wrote this book. This she called it. It's a booklet. It's not that many pages, so it's a very easy to read book and booklet. And the journal is there so that you can journal your prayer journey. The
Uh-huh.
journal is there so you can
And put some thoughts down.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and if you do decide to purchase it, make sure you tag her on our Instagram page at his wife her husband 97. That's the Instagram. His wife her husband 97. Also, if you have any questions, please send those questions. If you want those questions answered here, I don't know why I keep tapping. If you want those questions questions answered here on this channel, send us an email to his wife her husband 97 at gmail.com. His wife her husband 97 at gmail.com. Also, if you are watching on YouTube and you want to be a Patreon member, please click the link below for as little as $5 a month. There are some what we call after conversation that only the Patreon members would be able to hear. And so, yeah, that's it.
That's it.
And
That's
then,
it. That's all.
all right. Well, thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next episode. God
Be
bless you.
blessed. Take care.